Good evening. ரொம்ப அப்படியே எக்ஸைட்டடாக உட்காந்துருக்கீங்க. ஸோ ஐம் வெரி ஹாப்பி டு பி ஹியர் அட் திஸ் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் டைம் ஹேவிங் அன் இன்ட்ராக்ஷன் வித் ரேவதி. ரேவதி அப்படின்னு மேடம் சொன்ன உடனே ஃபஸ்ட்டு வந்தது வந்து என் மனசில் வந்து அந்த மண்மா சிலையில் இருந்த ஒரு இன்னசென்ட் வில்லேஜ் கேர்ள் மாதிரி ஒரு கேரக்டர். அதுக்கப்புறம் என் ஆல் டைம் ஃபேவரட் வந்து மௌனராகம் படம். மௌனராகம் படத்தை பார்த்தா அவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் தெரியும். ஒரு சீனில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அப்படி ரொம்ப காலேஜில் ஜாலியாக மலையில் டான்ஸ் ஆடிட்டு, அப்புறம் பார்த்தா ஒரு சீரியஸான ஒரு சீனு, அதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த சர்தார்ஜி கூட கொஞ்சம் நக்கல் பண்ணி தமிழில் பேசுகிறது, அதுக்கப்புறம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த சைடில் ரொம்ப சீரியஸான ஒரு கேரக்டரு. இப்படிதான் அதெல்லாம் இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு ஒரு சைடில். அப்புறம் மலையாள படம் கிலுக்கம்னு எவ்வளோ பேர் பார்த்துருக்கீங்க இங்கே? ஓ கிலுக்கம். ஓ ஷி காட் ஐ திங்க் யூ காட் ஃபிலிம்ஃபேர் அவார்ட் or நேஷ்னல் அவார்ட் ஃபார் தட்? கிலுக்கம் ஃபிலிம்ஃபேர். ஓகே. அந்த படமெல்லாம் பார்த்தோம்னா நம்பவே முடியாது. ஒரு அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கான ஒரு ப்ரீசி வெரி ஃபன்னி கேரக்டர். இந்த மாதிரிலாம் மல்டிபிள் ரோல்ஸ் பண்ணி இன்னைக்கு யூனோ ரேவதி இஸ் ஸ்டாண்ட்ஸ் ஃபார் லாட் ஆஃப் குட் திங்ஸ் இன் த சொசைட்டி. ஜஸ்ட் வாண்டட் டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் வாட் இஸ் ரேவதி நவ், ஹூ இஸ் ரேவதி, வாட் இஸ் ஷி டூயிங் இன் தீஸ் டேஸ்?
Thank you, Nasir, for that wonderful introduction of many things. So it's around 40 years, or 40 varsham aachu, more than 40 years since I became an actor. Being an actor was not my choice. It happened by chance because I'm basically a classical Bharatanatyam dancer. So I had training from the age of 7 and I was performing. So some pictures had come out and director Bharatiraja happened to need a new face for a film. And he happened to see my photograph and would you believe it, it was basically for Kadal Ovyam first, where Radha acted. But then, he looked at the pictures and said, no, I think she's too young, which I was. And then again, he saw my photographs again. And, these are pictures that had come in couple of magazines, and Savi magazine had a photograph. So acting was something that happened to me. And when it happened to me, I was, my parents are not from the industry. My dad is an army officer. My mother is basically one of those strict army officer's wife. So it was a wonderful, simple, middle class upbringing. It continues to be even today with my parents. So my life changed, but my home did not change. They kept me rooted. I was always doing what I had to do at home, whatever happens. So the rooting that my parents gave is what gave me the foundation of who I am today. I love to explore many things, Nasir. Nariya vishayangal maathite irpen. I get bored very easily. I can't do the same thing for too many years. So I like to explore. And Audrey was talking about cuisine. Yeah. All of us love cooking. That is another passion that I want to explore. I would like to really explore, having weekend tables and selling it out to different people, sitting and having conversations with total strangers and enjoying a good meal. This is something I want to do in my next half of life.
Wow, that's great.
So just listen to stories from people,
Wonderful. Just wanted to check with you because I've been follower of some of the influences in the movie critic. Bharatwaj Rangan is one person. I liked the interview that you've been asked some questions and all. And I came to know that you said after acting for so many years, you took a break, then you went to theatre and you wanted to relearn, which is unheard of, in according to most of us. The celebrities have a lot of ego. They think that they know everything, especially with a couple of awards and all that. So what made you to go ahead and, get into acting school or theatre?
So our profession is such that with experience, with age, our work reduces. Because we are the face on screen, actors, especially the female actors. You would have heard this world over. In all other professions, as you grow older, as your experience increases, you become bigger, you become larger, you have more work. But it's different in our profession. So I didn't know what to do with myself, and I had to rediscover. So, business is something, all of you know the language of business. But if you want me to tell you, what it is, as an actor, it was like a breeze. Somebody's putting in the money, somebody's writing the dialogue, somebody's making costume. I just wear it. And the only thing that I needed to have is, I would say, talent and skill to kind of put that character together so it reaches all of you, the audience. But as a director, it's entirely different. It kind of, every project you start from A. You start, finish it, again, you come back. It's like coming back to the pavilion and starting all over again, So that is the huge difference between our career and most businesses, So when I came to an age of 40, I didn't know what to do. I had done such fabulous roles in my 20s and 30s, and there was nothing interesting. So I wanted to rediscover myself, and that's when I went and did theater. Because then what happened, I owned the stage, and I was doing what I loved doing most, performance, and creating a character that reaches the audience. So I suppose that's what made me constantly change and do things.
What is your learning? Because theater is something where you do it on the spot. There's no camera, there's no cut, there's no retake. It's very challenging. Compared to the movie and theater, acting and theater, there's a whole lot of difference. Any learnings that we can pick up?
It's exhilarating because you make a mistake, not that you will not make a mistake, you make a mistake, but you learn how to, create something around it. I was doing a one-woman show, which was a 45-minute one-woman show. And I also did a theatre, a play with others. And some of the actors were Arundhati Nag herself. So there I really learned how to communicate with your actors in the right sense, with the right timing. It's so important. And you do the same thing every evening. And every evening, I thought I will get bored, but no, every evening was different because the audience was different, the energy from the audience was different, what you were doing was different. And every day you discovered something new. So it really helped me as an actor, and I kind of, changed from inside to be able to do many things. I understood my body, I understood my arms, I understood my voice, I understood, myself when I stand before and I get, what do you call it? Either I make a mistake or I get the applause. The whole thing, it's a great learning experience being on stage.
Wonderful. So it helped you after that when you go back.
Absolutely.
Right. So now you're also an actor, director, and nowadays it looks like people direct movies, directors become actor. A lot of things are happening, but in some of few decades back, it was unheard of. So in acting, you totally leave the control to somebody else, whereas when you direct, you have the control. So can you just throw some light on these two things?
So over the years, I felt that there are some stories that I want to tell. And after about 20 years of acting, I just felt that I would like to say some stories. And that's when I decided I want to direct. But then let me tell you, the third day of my shoot, I wanted to run away. Because every time all the eyes are on you and you have to make a decision. So something happens, so what do we do? And that was not what I was experienced with, I would look at someone else, but here everybody's eyes are on me. And I said, oh my God, this is like a huge responsibility. So the thing of wanting to do something and actually doing it, it was two different worlds. But then I learned that path, and now I love it because I love to be the captain of the ship and be there. And because you select your story, work with the writer. I don't write myself as yet. I would like to, but I don't like my writing as yet. I'm learning to do it. So I work with a writer, I work with a design person, I work with my actors, the music director, the editor, So we work with different and so many talents. So it's a huge team that brings out a film. And once a film is released, suddenly you're back to zero. There is nothing. You have to start all over again, starting from the concept. So that's what I said, your work, business, and my work is so different because every project, you start from zero. You start from the concept, a little seed, an idea, and you start all over. In about maybe 6 months or 1 year or whatever time the movie takes, it's over. So sometimes I feel, what am I doing? Starting all over again and again. It's like a cycle. But I think I love it too.
Great. So one of the things that we in the business, Satish is actually is a very favorite person in terms of bringing in topics and movies and all. He always has conversation of the business of movie business. So in line with that, in business, leadership is very important because one leader can come in and best performing company can go to dogs. The same way, the same person can make a worst company to a best company, right? So everything revolves on the leadership. So I asked Satish, why did you give this topic? Because the topic for you at this point of time is creative leadership, lessons from cinema, community, and institutions. So I just asked him, why did you name this? Because he said, no. I was talking to a lot of people, but when I spoke to Revathy, I didn't feel like I was talking to a celebrity, very out from the heart, very casual, and those kind of conversation. So I wanted to pick up something from you on the leadership lesson because you said you are the boss of the captain. So when it compared the business and the movie, it's almost similar in terms of the chaotic, the decision making that you need to do. You need everybody looks at you for your direction at one point of time, which is pretty much most of the CEOs like us go through the situation, and you're alone at the top. There's nobody else to go and ask anything of that matter. So, what is your leadership lessons from all these years of experience in acting in the movie, directing, or any other roles that you play?
It's interesting because this is something I have learned over the years. I did my first film, Mitra, my friend, in 2000. I was a very bad leader, but in the end, there was another. We were all debuts, I was, as a director, I was debuting, my writer was debuting, my cinematographer was debuting, my music director was debuting, and we had a team of 15 people who made a film because that was the budget we had. But there was an editor who had an experience, and she corrected all my mistakes and made a beautiful film out of that. So, so I learned a lot during that time. And so by the time I came to my next film, I was a little more confident, and I understood that we need to make decisions. But again, cinema is an industry or a project, one movie is, a project which has several talents and who are all leaders. Like you have your writer, you have your cinematographer, you have your editor, you have the music director, and several other departments, art department and all that. But all these people together come under the director's vision, because a movie is in the end the director's vision. Producer takes over the financial. So the creative lines are with the director, and I realized that because you're working with people who are already who is who in their industry, it's constantly working with the egos. It's not just with the talent, but there is also a level of ego. And that is something I learned when I was doing my movie as a director. Otherwise, I am the star. Whatever I say, everybody listens. But here, I became the director, and a director is a technician. So it's not that everybody listens to you. So how do I handle that? You know, I have a very talented music director, but I also have a music director who has a slight ego. So how do I handle to get the work that I want? And that was an interesting learning for me. In the same way, the producer has put in the money. So the upper hand is the producer, the person who has put in the finance. But, you know, creatively you have made something, you don't want to let go, you don't want to compromise, but the producer says, no, we need to do all these, otherwise you can't market the product. Again, to understand the producer's requirement, because in the end, what is the point in making a creative product if nobody sees it? So that is where, you know, we're talking about being flexible, you know, to understand both this and that, and handle and work with flexibility. And that is when you know, the true person in you comes out. What is the kind of person you are? Are you a flexible person? Or are you the person who says that everybody does what I say? You know? So I realized that I am a flexible person, but very diplomatically, very beautifully, I bring everybody in my path.
Wonderful. The art of making things go your way. All right. So now, since you talked about ego, I've been wanting to ask this question: who's more egoistic, the actors or the directors?
I wouldn't put it on the label of their profession. I would put it on individuals.
Individuals. Okay. Right. That's another nice way of handling questions. Wonderful. Okay, so now let me go back to the some of the activities that you do for the cause of the society, especially the NGO that you have called PEN, right? I mean, for the woman, the girl child, or something like that. Because
The safety of women and children.
yeah. So what is that? What is that work that you do?
Okay, over the years, you know, being a celebrity, you're invited for different things and different causes, and you're asked to speak. It's only because if a doctor speaks about, you know, a transplant, organ donation, there'll be a small group listening to it. But if an actor speaks about organ donation, you know, there is a lot more. So celebrities are invited to speak about different causes, and for many years, I've been invited on different causes, and I just connect with it because I feel that this is my way of giving back. But in the recent times, I think it's been very important. I feel that the safety of women and children seems to be deteriorating for whatever reasons, and there are too many issues that are happening around them. And I decided I would like to make a very try and make you know, the world a safer place so that my child, my daughter lives in a better world. Okay, there is a selfish reason along with everything else. So like we were saying, we were talking about the captain in a movie. Even in movies, we have something called the POSH Act, where it is about prevention of sexual harassment in the workplace. And we also have the ICs, which is, I'm sure most of you know about it. I'm sure most of your companies have ICs. How many of you have ICs in your factories, companies? Yeah, okay. So, you know, ICs, where it's an internal complaints committee where, you know, women can go and address. So this is something in our unorganized film industry, it was never there. Though it is a law of the land, many people resisted it. So bringing it in as a woman director or as a person who was aware of these things. So every film that we started on the first day of the shoot, I would call everybody. It's from the producer to the spot boy who gives us tea, coffee, the drivers who take us, the lightmen, everybody, I call all of them. We all have a gathering and I tell them, okay, this is the IC, this is the number, these are the people on the IC. So if you have any complaints, man, woman, anybody, please complain. So this was an important aspect in our profession too. And very interestingly, in my last film, there was a man who called and he said, I'm being harassed. So immediately, of course, it was. So I said, what was the harassment about? I asked the producer the next day. It does come to me. Every complaint comes to me because I was part of the panel. He said, "Nahi, nahi." There was a what do you call it? The production boy who comes and keeps the food. He wanted the tiffin carrier back because the next day he has to clean it, and he was knocking on the door, and that was the harassment that he complained. So it was very interesting, and we all laughed, and we called him, and we said, "Arey yaar, this is not the kind of harassment. There are different kinds of harassment, and this is what it is." So I feel that it's a cause that I'm maybe going to take over in a more stronger way, where we are starting a movement which is called zero tolerance to sexual harassment in our industry and any other place that people want to take over and take up, and we planning to create a movement through PEN, which is a very important movement as far as I'm concerned.
Very good. So, most of the movies of yours has got some powerful message. Do you think that movies can change the standing of society, or is it a message that can be communicated to doing something good for the society?
I strongly feel that when something is put in, along with a lot of other storytelling, it does get into people's heart. So that is why sometimes I wonder, so much of violence in our cinema these days, is it actually getting into people's minds? And the way people tease women that has now become like a fashion, a trend, or okay, he did it, this particular hero did it, so it's my way of doing it, that kind of stuff. So all this has been working on my mind, and in my entire career I've been very careful about what I say on screen and what I say in public. It's very important, I feel, because people do imitate, or they take home what a celebrity says. So it's very important what we say and how we behave. And so I do feel it. So whenever I make a movie, both as an actor or a director, I am careful about what I put into my film.
Good. See, the movie business has evolved big time. You have OTT platforms, and you see anybody can become a celebrity in no time because of the reels that they put on and so on and so forth. So, at this context, how is this changing? I mean, what is your thoughts on the modern movie industry?
I think I want to go and do some farming. I'm done with this. Because I really don't understand. Tapsi was talking about AI and things like that. I just do not understand it. And AI is taking over voices. It's taking over acting. I know it's great. People are doing some great. I don't think I can work like that. So I really want to go back, and I'm slowly working towards going back into my roots and maybe making a meal for 10 people every Sunday.
So, what is that actually trying to communicate? You mean to say these days movies are not to
No,
that
what
tune?
I'm trying to communicate is it's great for the generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, Gen Beta that's coming. So yes, I think it's great, and they seem to be enjoying it, but I don't connect with it. So that's my problem. I'm not saying it's a problem of the product, so I'm not able to connect with it. And so I have gone into another aspect of creative. And this is something, this is sound, light, and multimedia installations.
I was about to ask you a question on that.
Yeah. So I have come to doing that now. So I've always been interested in history, and I feel that some of our kids need to understand what our country is, the kind of the culture, the tradition, why it has come, why are we talking about it, why is this building here? And so I felt that it is very important to do this, and I started with Ross Island in Andamans, where, there is a bakery built by the British, and we talked about the penal settlement in the Andamans.
and we created a sound and light. It was completely learning on the job. I had no clue what it was. So learned on the job, got the best people to work with me on my team, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it because we had to do, like 2 years of research into a lot of material before we came up with the 30-minute script. So that was very interesting. And after that, I did a few more. So I've done about 4 sound and light installations, and I'm doing one in Kerala now. I would like to show you a few slides, if you don't mind. PPT, I'm sorry, I haven't gone into AI, so just be patient and watch it. This is my company, Studio One Productions, which I created to do some of my own stuff, and this is, so this is, me a few years back with not black hair. So that was the first sound and light in Ross Island that we did. These are my partners. Alphonse Roy, I don't know if you have heard of him. He's basically a tiger man of India. He's done a lot of documentaries in the National Geographic. Sudha is a friend of mine who's extremely, she knows the corporate world, which I don't know, and I am the creative head. So Rasool is our sound design. He has been doing this he also learnt with us. We learnt together. So he did the Ross Island show, he did the 3 shows in Maharashtra, and he's also doing the Kerala show. So he's a great person, and we are learning and teaching each other. And this is our team, Arvindan, who does all the graphic design, Ravi, who does animation, and Sailesh, who does the integration part of it. And we have all these writers who worked with us. Gulzar Saab has been a huge push that he gave me, because his knowledge of history along with poetry is so amazing. So we worked together. So this is where the give and take happened with the creative artists. And these are the writers whom I worked with. Kausar is another favorite of mine. And we worked with A.R. Rahman. We did a beautiful 7-minute musical fountain, which is the longest in the world. Floating fountain, nobody knows about it, sadly. Because we don't talk about it much, so I decided this is a forum, I'm going to talk about it and say the kind of work we have done. So Shankar has given music, AR gave a beautiful track for that. And our voices have been all of them with Shabana and Gulzar Saab as our first voices, and Mr. Bachchan, Sachin, Khadekar, and Mr. Nana Patekar also gave voices. So our shows, I just wanted to show you. This is the show that we did. This is our first 3D mapping show in Ross Island that we did. It basically talked about the history of the penal settlement in Andamans. Then in Futala Musical Fountain is in Nagpur. We started in 22, but some environmentalists put a case on it. So there was a stay for 2 years. Now we're restarting now immediately, because it is not a wetland, it is a man-made lake. So we tried proving it, and we have proved it at last. So we will be starting again. This is the one I said, it's a floating fountain, and it is an engineering marvel. Hundreds of tons of steel are floating with, so I'm also learning architecture and engineering along with all this, with light engineering and construction engineering. So it's fun. I'm learning so many things, with others. So this is, this is 152-meter long floating fountain, where the pressure of the fountain is so much, because if it has to go hit 50 meters, imagine the kind of air pressure that you need to put. So if you don't have your bank, which is the floating platform, well done, everything will submerge. So we learnt an amazing lot in all this. Ambazari, we created the mural which you see right in the center with Vivekananda. And see, as we do the 3D mapping, show how the mural itself, there's just one surface on which we tell the story of Vivekananda. So this is one. And in Ratnagiri, Thibau Palace is that. So in the night, when we do the projection and the lighting, it all changes, and Shivaji Maharaj is walking and things like that. So we did an interesting connect of 6 Bharat Ratna awardees of the Konkan region, and connecting them to what Chhatrapati Shivaji did. So it was like the Maharashtrians are, completely what do you say, they are devout with regards to Shivaji. So
we wanted to make the connect and tell them how the modern people have taken from Shivaji's legacy or his administrative skills or his humanity and done the same thing. So it was a very interesting kind of work we did there. Ambora is Mr. Nitin Gadkari has actually Mr. Nitin Gadkari is the one who took me to Maharashtra because he saw my show in Ross Island and he loved it so much. He said, "Come and do some stories here." It was a very interesting partnership that we created. I mean, just as an advisor, okay, no finance in it. So, so this is another place in Ambora where we're doing a small, beautiful amphitheater and a show. So, just wanted to tell you what the 3D mapping is all about. And so this is the building in Ross Island. We just painted it white so we could use it as a surface of projection. So this is how it is.
So just see the same building with 3D mapping changes. So the changes into hospital in our story, a wartime hospital, a dilapidated hospital. It changes, as a British barrack. It changes as the under of the ocean, So this is what. And now the next is in Sargalia. So that is the end of it. Thank you. I just want you to, understand that when we keep growing from one to the other, they're all creative, they're all interconnected. But it's just that I can't do the same thing for a very long time. So I just try to find different venues where I can still put my creative skills and work. I would like you to just watch a minute of the story that we have told about Vivekananda. Are you okay about that? Do we have the time? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, so can you just play the video, please?
Sisters and brothers of America,
ये आवाज मेरी है, पर ये बोल सिर्फ मेरे नहीं। इस वाणी को हजारों साल की विद्या ने तराश कर आकार दिया है। इस सोच में कई पीढ़ियों ने अपने रंग भरे हैं। इस कथा को युगों के ज्ञान मंथन ने रचा है। मैं केवल एक भिक्षुक हूं, जिसे भिक्षा में ये अनोखी कथा कहने को मिली है। मैं केवल एक दूत हूं, जो आज ये दिव्य संदेश आप तक पहुंचाने के लिए यहां आया है। मुझे तो यह भी समझ नहीं आ रहा था कि मैं अपनी बात शुरू कहां से करूं। तब मैंने एक गहरी सांस ली, अपने गुरु का नाम लिया, काली मां को याद किया और मैं समझ गया कि मुझे क्या कहना है।
the goal may be distant, but awake, arise, and stop not till the goal is realized.
Yeah, so this is just a glimpse of what our show was. The whole thing is projected on the mural that we had built. And the beauty is Rasul Pukuti's sound. So we create a surround sound system in an outdoor space, which is one of the rarest. Dolby has written a special software for Rasul Pukuti for our shows. So, we are working with different things to create an experience. Now, this is not an experience. You can take it on a mobile phone and then show it on YouTube. But, being there is an experience. So this is what I'm doing now and learning on the job. But I think that is what I like when I try to take the creativity in different places. And here I need to add, so an actor was the easiest job. The director, all eyes were on me, so I learned how to do it. Here, the toughest job is the funding from the government. Getting those monies after moving your documents paper by paper by paper to every desk. Oh my God. So I have learned that also. And I'm learning, not learnt. I'm still learning. I find it so tough. So my next plan is to do a PPP. You know, just go into the public private partnership where we don't deal with bureaucracy, you don't deal with government, you don't deal with egos of the political parties, and get somebody to believe in what you're doing. And I would like, our plan is to do in as many heritage sites. You go to a Tanjavur temple, you don't know how much has gone in there, to create what you're watching, So you go to Mahabalipuram, what is it? Is it what the person who's talking about the place? Or is there something more? So when you see it in the night and you watch something, you take back those visuals in your mind. A child of 10, like there was a girl when we did the show in Nagpur, we talked about the history of Nagpur. And this girl who's lived there, she was now 21. She said, I didn't know my city had this history, that Bhosle's laid the foundation. And she said, I'm so happy, Auntie, you gave us this knowledge. So this is what I think my next.
Wow, wonderful. So I think there are a few learnings for me from whatever you've been talking about. One, you are a quick learner because you understood there's no point in knocking the government. Instead, we can probably go ahead and do something. You exhibited that you are a business person, and you are. I mean, I was astonished because you're talking about engineering. How many of you agree with me? The 15 feet going up, the thermodynamics. I was really shocked. So there's a lot of multifaceted personality you were able to exhibit. It's lovely talking to you because I know that there is another round table. There's a lot of women around us waiting for that to happen. So it's wonderful talking to you. And
Thank you, Nasir.
I could see a multi-dimensional person. And we picked up a lot of lessons. I'm sure the business people here, if you just give them a little bit of cues, they can pick it up. And we wish you all more success in the new endeavor that you're trying to do.
Thank you.
And before I say thank you, I was actually I told this story when we were having a coffee. My daughter watched your movie about 4-5 years back, the Maunaraga movie. And she said that she likes watching Malayalam movies a lot. And she came back and told me, Papa, இந்த மாதிரிலாம் படம் தமிழ்ல இருக்கா? Okay.
That's what I said.
அப்ப நீங்க
இருந்தது.
சொன்னீங்க இருந்துச்சுன்னு சொன்னீங்க. So I think we would still look forward to your acting too, because that's what we love most. Yeah. And I'm sure some of the very interesting, the recent past, some of the movies that we've acted was brilliant. Irfan was talking about Nefa virus, that interesting movie and all that. So we keep continuing to wait for your movies to happen. In the meanwhile, whatever you're talking about, public-private partnership, the whole theme of Jubilant is all about business people tying up, doing work with each other, trying to do a partnership with each other.
Yeah.
And we would look forward to have an opportunity to do something of this sort, because when you travel around the world, you go to different places. I always very mockingly tell to people, because the tourism there is promoted beautifully. I used to tell, when you walk on the road, there'll be a guide will tell you, see, this is a tree, this is the plant, this is the sun, and they'll talk a beautiful story out of it. But you need to pay for it to get this guide along with you. Whereas you see in India, there are so many things happening, so many heritage building, and you make a light and sound show out of it. You pay through your nose in dollar term when you go abroad to watch these things. And I'm very, very happy that you've taken such initiative. Please let us know if there anything that we could be of interest or help in putting up this across.
So one of the main reasons is basically I knew that you would understand what I'm talking about. So if any of you are doing CSR related, work in any of the heritage sites or temples or anything, please let us know, because I really want to make stories which the youth will take forward and understand. So, we can plan these things. And I feel the reason that I've kept going is constant learning, constantly changing, and constantly knowing that I have not reached the end as yet.
Wonderful. Having said that, since you talked about the heritage site and all, few of our members, in fact, launched books. Last 2 days, they've been launching their books. some of it is very interesting book. There's one interesting book about the archaeology of the Nilgiris mountain, way back to about 100, 200, 300 years of history. It's a very nice book. We wanted to give you that. Just look into it, and it will be of some inputs to you as well in that. So we would definitely like to join hands with you. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give a very wonderful hand for Madam Revathy.